Couple quick polls before we bring up our next speaker here. This is an opportunity for us to get down to the nitty-gritty. Thanks to Mike's talk, it inspired us to ask, do you use social media to engage with elected officials? Does your organization use social media? Your doctor groups, your provider groups, your patient groups, your caregiver groups? If you do, yes is on the left. Yes is the number 189307. To text it to 22333. No is 189308. So if you use social media to engage with elected officials, go ahead and text to 22333, the number 189307. Looks like we are temporarily disconnected from our poll everywhere. So we're getting the giant shrug from Gnome, which is okay. These things happen. If it didn't break, it wouldn't be digital, I think is the lesson here of the day. But I think that allows us to relate to everybody because inevitably things that are plugged in or run on batteries will not work according to plan 100% of the time. And so it looks like we're not going to do the poll everywhere for this moment. But we'll make sure to pull that back up here in a second. Good opportunity to keep us thoroughly on schedule. We're going to move right into the next portion. This is really important. We've got a conversation here led by the president of a company called Media Cause. Cody Damon, he's here with us today from Boston, Massachusetts, and he's going to talk today about analysis, about taking what we learn from social media and analyzing that data and that insight to understand where we've come from versus where we're going to go. The thumbs up, the high sign means, Cody, we're going to hang on for 2 seconds because poll everywhere, the gods are back with us. So boom. Oh, and we even registered a bunch of votes. So if you haven't already registered whether or not your organization uses social media to engage with elected officials, yes, you do. Your doctors, your nurses, your patients, your providers. If the answer is yes, to 22333, you want to text 189307. And if your organization does not use social media to engage with elected officials, as about 29% of you don't currently, it's 189308 to the 22333 or polleverywhere.com/DHadvocacy. I encourage everyone to hop on that website, especially those of you tuning in at home, because that is a surefire way to get your vote registered here, your poll at least. And that is the second of these two questions, which helps us understand here a little bit better. So Noam, we can move on to the second question, which is whether or not your organization, whether or not you're engaging with federal or state legislators. So the state officials versus your federal officials. So the state officials are on the left. It's code number 190208. The federal officials are 190209. Important to know this will not actually get to a federal official at the moment, but helps us to understand the balance and how we're using social media to engage with elected officials. If you're talking to state officials using social media, states all around the country, you're going to want to text to 22333, the number 190208. And if you're talking to federal officials, those located on Capitol Hill, renowned for being our federal elected officials, insert commentary there, it's 190209. And what's so interesting here is it's kind of evenly, well, not so evenly, but split out about 2/3. The numbers keep going toward federal. So much more at this point engagement with federal officials than with state officials, which is fine, which is cool. But that gives us a lot of room to grow here because GHLF goes from here today to Boise, Idaho tomorrow, where we'll be participating in some hearings on behalf of patients. And if not for social media, I don't think we'd be able to locate Boise, Idaho, let alone get to Boise, Idaho, and have such a large voice as we'll have in Boise, Idaho. So go figure, 80% or so using social media for federal discussion, engagement, and about 20%, a fifth of you, organizations, doctors and nurses and patients and caregivers here talking to state officials. Well, how about that for a quick little techno hiccup that was very smoothly covered over. Thank you for the tap dancing lessons in my childhood. They came in handy here because we can finally bring up our next presentation.